Yes, I'm
anyways,
listening.
so we'll start.
Kitty school. What is your major? What are you majoring in, Kitty?
So, okay, complicated long story. Go. Graduated high school in 2009. I went to a private university directly from high school, where I was a double major in chemistry and in math. And I went out of state for school, 6 hours away from home, because the school that I chose had an awesome master's program in forensic science. So I was planning on attending the school as an undergrad for math and chemistry double major, and then to go straight into the master's program for forensics. Okay, fast forward 2.5 years, it's my junior year. My focus in chemistry was organic chemistry, and one of the things that we had to use, it's this big, like, super expensive machine, can't remember, I think it's called, like, nuclear magnetic, resonance? It's an NMR, is what it's called. Big, scary machine. I needed it to, take my classes and to do, if I want to do a senior thesis for organic chemistry, I needed it. It broke.
You broke it, didn't you?
I did not break it. They got it in like 1960, so it was due to break. It's an old chemistry machine, but it's so it was pretty much, they were like, we need alumni funds to buy a new one, so it's going to be a few years before we get another one. Your other option is you can go to the nearby state university and use theirs, and then just drive back with your results and everything. So it would, and I did a semester of this where it was on my lunch break. I drove the 15 minutes to the state campus, used their machine on their campus, which took like another 20 minutes, because I was a pro. And okay, another side story. No, funny side story. Okay, so this at the university campus, like the state university, this machine is only used by grad students. Like, their chemistry program, the undergrad students don't touch it. Grad students are cocky, so like, there's software that goes with the machine. Like, you have to calibrate it properly before you run it. And they had a leaderboard. Like, there was a chalkboard in the room where when you start the software, it starts a timer, so it'll tell you how long it takes from starting configuration to end printing results when it's done. Like, it tells you how long it takes it. So they had a leaderboard of fastest times on how to run this machine, and it was all grad students. My very first time using their machine, I got second place on the leaderboard. And it was really funny because I came back the next day and they're like, "Who's this random Amanda person on our leaderboard?" I'm like, "Oh, that's me. I'm an undergrad and I just whooped your asses on configuring this properly." Anyways, so it took me like 20 minutes, like, to do it fast and get all of my samples through and everything. But I still got, readable results, and then I had to drive the 15 minutes back to campus. So that took up my entire lunch, and it was like, you can't have food in the chem labs or anything like that, so like, I'd eat in my car, and it was like, just, I had no time because I had classes before and after, and I had to get my samples done before I could get back and everything. So it was like, pretty much, screw this, I'm done with this school, move on. Deep breath. Ugh. Okay, next, community college. So from the math and chemistry, because it was like organic chemistry, I had originally burp. Beer. Originally decided to go into a health-related field because, like, the forensics work that I had planned on doing was essentially DNA focused. So I was going to be dealing with human DNA anyways, kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I can do laboratory technician, where it's pretty much you're the person running the pee and blood samples at hospitals. And it was like a, it's associated, like, maybe 2-year program at the community college kind of thing. So start on that, and I'm still in. I live in Nebraska now. Originally from Minnesota, so I moved to Nebraska for school. I'm still in Nebraska because of my boyfriend and I live together here, so I never went back home. Anyways, massive red tape if you're going into the health field. That they need all of your vaccination records because
Yep.
you know you're going to be handling contaminated
And if you
samples.
don't have them, you have to get revaccinated.
Okay, so health field, red tape, vaccination records.
Yep.
All of my vaccination records are in Minnesota because you know I was in Minnesota until I was 18 years old. So it was a massive pain in the ass to get all of my vaccination records from my old childhood doctor and everything. And apparently, like, I got chickenpox as a kid, so therefore I wasn't vaccinated against chickenpox. So there's no vaccination record. There is a infected with the disease antibody record kind of thing.
Right.
Anyways, massive red tape. Took me like 8 months, and then they still, I ended up having to go, like, even with the records, they rejected them. So then I had to go and I had to get titers done. So that's where they, like, do a blood draw and they check your blood for antibodies. And the bright side of that was it learned out that one of my vaccinations never took. So even though, like, it was something I had vaccination record for, it never took. So I did get that vaccinated again. But anyways, like, massive thing, major pain in the ass, lots of red tape. And it didn't work out. In this whole 8-month period where I am, like, freaking out, trying to get into health field, wondering what's going on with all of my records, I started playing Minecraft. And, specifically, I was watching Direwolf 20, and I was watching him play with Computercraft. So, Lua, and then a lot of Red Power, and Forth. So, I taught myself, like, watching it, I thought this was, like, really interesting. So I, like, went along with it, and I taught myself a bunch of, like, Lua and Forth and everything, and I was like, I could do this all the time. Like, I was a math major, so I have the logic and the reasoning already kind of backing. It's like, I can do programming. And the community college that I was originally attempting to go to for the health program had a programming program, like curriculum or whatever. So I signed up for that. I made it 2 semesters. Was it 2 semesters? It might have been 3 quarters, so a semester and a half, and I realized it was a joke. The final project, oh, I'm hungry. The final project for, like, because I got a semester and a half, and we were watching other people we were watching the graduating seniors' final project presentations. And it was in COBOL.
What?
Yeah. The whole curriculum leads up to COBOL. And hold on, Drake.
COBOL's a little outdated.
So the whole basis behind, like, the logic behind why they were using COBOL and all of this other completely outdated processes, languages, is that it is a community college that is funded by local businesses. And the local businesses have say in what the curriculum is because they're paying for it. This is in a tiny little podunk town in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska.
Yeah.
So the school was funded by banks, which were still using,
Oh, yeah.
Languages from the 70s. So that was the entire curriculum. My first quarter was flowcharts, and Visual Basic. And then my second quarter was Java, which I was already fairly familiar with just because of Minecraft is written in Java. And then it was, from there on out, it was a bit of HTML and CSS, like tiny, like 1 quarter class. There was a quarter of SQL, and then it was RPG and COBOL for the rest of the 2 years of the associate's program. I also took a course on IBMI while I was there, so like, old, like, terminal where it was white text on a green screen. Fun part with that was that I could using the IBMI, like the way that they had connected to the server, I could remotely connect to the school's printer from home, and it didn't have any log on who was sending the files. So I sent like dick butt to the printer at 2 o'clock in the morning once. That was really funny. Anyways, so as soon as I realized how much of a joke it was, I abandoned ship. From there, I decided, I was like, okay, I still want to do programming. I need some sort of piece of paper that says I am competent and I know what I'm talking about, kind of thing. I didn't want to do like Microsoft certification because that's a nightmare to do. So
Yeah.
I finally caved and decided that I would attend classes at the State University for their computer science bachelor degree. So August 25th, so a month ago yesterday when we're recording this, so like 2 months ago, depending on how long I could take till I get this video up, I started my first classes for the computer science program. None of my community college courses transferred, obviously, but my advisor was really nice, and like the computer science doesn't have, you know, like a lot of programs. Like for languages and math, they let you take like placement tests kind of things, where it's like
nice.
So like that's common practice at university. For math and languages, you take a placement test and they'll let you know where it is. There is no placement tests for computer science, but my advisor was kind enough that he asked me a bunch of basic questions, like in my my first appointment or whatever, to register for classes and everything, figure out what I need to do. And he was like, okay, yeah, you're probably at sophomore level kind of thing from the questions that he asked and that I answered. So we made the deal that I would start at sophomore level classes, and if I got a C or higher in my classes, I would get all of the I would automatically get the credits for all of the prerequisites. Like I wouldn't have to take them.
Nice.
So now I go to the classes, and like when we originally made the deal, I was like C or higher, okay. If you think it's like when somebody tells you aim for a C or higher, you expect, okay, I'm going to be challenged in this course, kind of thing. Like if you're expecting me, like if you think that it might be difficult for me to get a C. No. My last 3 assignments, I have gotten 100% or higher on them because there's extra credit. So it's, I am taking, this semester, I'm taking a linear algebra course, which is cake considering that I got entirely through calculus and like math theory at the private university. Like it was just I never took linear algebra at the private university. Did you get the water barrel? I'm thirsty.
I did. It is right there dangling off the side of the steps.
So, right now the linear algebra course is matrix theory. And I already know matrix theory from differential equations. So it's like this is a cakewalk for me. My comp sci class is entirely review. Like we're currently setting up a basic invoice system that is written in Java and it is backed by an SQL database. I've already done that. I did that at SEC in my Java class, so it's like this is cake. And then I am taking a what is it called? Discrete mathematics. But it's not spelled like secret discrete, it's spelled, hold on, I'm typing it. So when you spell discrete that way, it means like unique mathematics. It's basically, it's a logic class, so it's like tautologies and like implies, so it's basically, it's how you do Boolean operators in coding. Like the proper way to use, like for extremely complex situations when you need to use and or and not and all of that kind of thing. But it's a computer science class, like that's the category of the course when you like register for it, but there's no like programming. It's a logic class. We don't really relate it to programming other than like a few examples kind of thing.
And this was a horrible iron vein as well, I just want to add.
Yeah. Well, I've got...
Like, we're like 5 or 7 levels deep, but it's still poor.
Well, it'll always be poor. The whole thing is poor. A vein is only one type. It has like a... I think it's like a 15% chance that the whole vein is rich. A 35% chance that the whole thing is normal. Something poor. I can't math right now. Anyways, okay, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's my 3 classes. I start out with linear algebra, which is at 10:30, and that goes until, no, it's at 11:30, and that goes until 12:30. And at 12:30 I have comp sci, which the lecture is entirely review for me. So I sit on Twitter all day. If you look at my Twitter feed, I normally have tweets around like lunchtime because I'm sitting in class and I'm bored out of my mind. And then right after that, so that goes until 1:30, and then from 1:30 to 2:30 is the logic class, and that's boring and logic. And I've been really bad. I've been skipping class lecture 2. I'm showing up for the days that we have to hand in assignments and like if we have a quiz. So like the days where I actually have to be there for my grade. I'm not going to lecture the other days because it's going nuts.
Tisk tisk.
It's review. Like it's, and the instructor puts all of, like he puts the entire lecture on, do you know what Blackboard is?
No, but I'm familiar with what it is. I mean, what it's about, right? I've not ever had to use it, but
yeah,
I understand what it's supposed to be for.
It's a university web portal for class information. So like,
well, not just university. Like my daughter's kindergarten school teacher has a Blackboard account thing that she uses to post class details for parents.
Yeah, class details. So it's got like our syllabus. He puts all of the PowerPoint slides from our lectures in there. It's where we find our assignments and our lab work and everything. The computer science class has labs. They give us, like, at the very first day of class, he was talking about like how to budget your time correctly for lab. And they give us like all of the handouts are posted online beforehand. So he's like, read through the handout before you come to lab, because otherwise, like, we have 2 hours for lab. If you don't read through the handout, you're not gonna have enough time to complete the lab, kind of thing. Like he's saying like 2 hours, you're not gonna be able to finish in 2 hours. These labs are hard, kind of thing. And for a lot of students, yes, that is the case. They don't complete lab within the 2 hours that are given, even if they read the handout. I finished lab in 15 minutes. Like, our second lab was doing a for each loop. Like, that was literally iterate through every item in array. That's it.
I did 5 or 6 of those just this afternoon to clean up our Kerbal Space Program server. Yeah.
The last lab that I just did, it was inheritance and polymorphism. So it was, here is an employee class, make a part-time employee class that is a subclass of employee. Like, it's very basic tasks that I already know how to do. So it's like, I do them ahead of time, and then I show up at lab at 5:30 at night, and I just handed my code, and then the TA is like, okay, and then I go home instead of spending 2 hours sitting in the lab. Okay, so that's that. It's like
being smart for the win.
Yeah, but it's kind of to the point where I'm like, I'm slacking because I'm not challenged, and I'm procrastinating because I know that I have more than enough time to do it. And it's I could do it now. It would take me 10 minutes. Like, I could do my homework now, and it would take me 10 minutes, and I would be done for the week. But instead, I'm like, it's only going to take me 10 minutes. I'm going to put it off until the end of the week, and then I'll do it. Kind of bad behavior.
Until you only have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way I got through high school. Yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so that's my smarty pants.
So what is your current major?
Computer science.
Computer science, okay.
Okay, so that's my that's my fancy pants Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes that are actually part of my degree. I have to have full-time status because I have like benefits and stuff that I get as a student, like scholarships and that kind of things. So I have to have at least 12 credit hours. Those don't add up. Those three classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, don't add up to 12 credit hours. So I have to take, and it's mainly because I have so many transfer credits from my original university. Like my general education courses are done, so I don't have to take any gen eds, but I'm still taking like random fluff courses where students would normally be taking gen eds because I need full-time status. So my fluff course, it was like a random kind of, not really like it's an interest course, but I am not actively interested in it, and it was just kind of like the first thing that popped up on the screen that fit in the time schedule, and I'm like, this isn't horrible. It is a Tuesday, Thursday from 2:30 until 3:30, so it's in the afternoon, so Tuesday, Thursdays I get to sleep in. It's awesome. Islam in the modern world. It's a religion class.
Interesting.
So it's, I mean, the primary reason that I was like, okay, yeah, I can tolerate this, is because of the whole ISIS and like all of the conflict that's going on in, over in Iraq and Syria and everything that's right now. I'm really bad at watching, like I don't watch news, but like I see Reddit threads and stuff, and I would like to be a more adult person and worldly and things. So I was like, okay,
so
fuck that, I like knowing as little as possible.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I'll say that I'm kind of in between those two desires. I have lots of not happy words to say about local media outlets, television media outlets, and especially social media outlets.
Yeah.
Because those outlets, they make their living through revenue on advertisements. And how can you guarantee that somebody is going to tune in or read your information other than to sensationalize whatever the story is? And that's what they do all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to beat everybody else to the punch, so they just over-sensationalize and use half-truths or half data to report a story. Whereas print media, because of the way print media is, they have more time to get their headlines out. And because they have more time, generally, you see that they spend that time doing actual research instead of just sensationalizing some words that, anyhow.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of news only because I don't care for the sensationalism and the half-assed reporting that comes along with that.
No, I completely agree.
So I challenge everybody, every one of our viewers, to go a week, one whole week, 7 days, without using your local television media or social media for news. Get an actual frickin' paper. Read a magazine.
I do internet written news, but it's still like it's an in between. Like it's not as bad as social media and local, but it's not as thoroughly.
Right. Well, it's interesting too. If you can hang up the local media outlet and the social media outlets for your news, at the end of a week of reading printed news, I'm willing to bet money that your view of the country, world, local area will be less
skewed,
displeasing than it is presently.
But yeah, basically it was Like, I was raised Christian, like, heavily Christian. My mom is, like, the crazy person at church. Like, she hosts, you know, like the new member brunch at church. My mom cooks for that. And, like, she is the #1 volunteer at our church, kind of thing. So we went to, like, I went to Sunday school every single week. And I went to church every single morning, every single Sunday. So I went to church twice a week. We were Lutheran, but my mom was raised Catholic. So she was smart enough. Well, I'm not gonna say smart enough. I don't want to offend anybody, but she made the decision that she didn't want her children to be raised in as rigorous of religion as, like,
Catholicism. Yep.
So she went Protestant. She pissed off Grandma with that. Like, she really pissed off Grandma by baptizing us Protestant. But so it's like I know all of the stories and everything. Like, I went to Bible camp in the summer instead of, you know, like, normal kid camp kind of thing. So, like, I know all the stories and everything. But at the same time, I know, like, that Islam, Judaism, so, like, Jewish religion, and Christianity they're all based off of the same set of stories. So, like, I know that it's...
Yep, different interpretations of the exact same events.
So from the big picture, it's all the same God, kind of thing. So it was...
Right.
So for me, that's...
But if you're not Christian, you know, your soul might be in danger.
Right.
I never understood that mentality. Anyhow, yes.
So that's why, like I know from what I know about Islam as a religion, is what I learned in, like, social studies class in high school. So, like, I know about the Quran, and I know about, like, I understand the reasoning behind, like, a burqa and, like, covering your hair and, like, the weird... I'm not gonna say weird. I'm sorry if I offended somebody by saying weird. But the different cultural aspects of it.
Well, no, let's use the term weird.
It's weird to me.
Because, exactly, it is weird to me because that is not my lifestyle. It is weird. I mean, we're humans, and that's the way humans are built. And
that's why I decided to take the course, because I was like, yeah, I would be totally okay with learning more about Islam and more about Islam in today's society, because, like, I could take a religious studies class on Catholicism in medieval times, and that's not gonna... I can't relate to that. Like, no way. It's like the time differences, the mentality and the psychology behind it all and everything. It's a whole different beast. So it was like, it's a modern course of Islam. So far we still haven't gotten out of, there's this thing called the Caliphate. I guess if you're not familiar with Islam, you don't know what that is. But we're stuck on that. So we're up to, like, 1925. But you can't understand current times until you understand the past.
Right.
So we're doing, like, we're 4 weeks into the semester, and we'll start on, like, I mean, we're at 1924. We're pretty fairly modern in the whole timeline of Islam culture. But so we're still kind of, like, figuring out why things are going as they are and all that. But it's, like, it's an interest course. So that's pretty much my only class this semester that keeps my attention. Other than that, I am also taking a online course for a single credit, just to pad my credit hours even more, and that is a Introduction to Unix online course. And
you're gonna breeze through that one pretty quick too.